A Belgian king accused of having a personal relationship with his stepmother. Moreover, linked to the assassination of the first democratically elected prime minister of the Congo. Mesdames et messieurs, le roi Baudouin des Belges. And in English, ladies and gentlemen, King Baudouin of the Belgians. Born September 7th, 1930, he became King of the Belgians on July 17th, 1951, at aged only 20. Now, Baudouin became king because his father, pictured here, King Leopold III, abdicated. Why did he abdicate? Well, during World War II, Belgium was invaded by the Germans. We'll say that for lack of me having this video demonetized. And in 1944, this guy, Leopold III, as well as his new wife, Princess Lilian, and their children were deported. First to Germany, and then secondly to Austria. They were eventually released by the United States in 1945, but the question was, did Leopold collaborate with the Germans? And as they say in German, die Welt will es vielleicht nie erfahren. Probably butchered that, haven't spoke German in a while, please forgive me. He was accused of surrendering to the Germans in 1940, his refusal to join the government in exile, his fruitless visit with the leader of the German regime, you know who I'm talking about, can't say the name, and his unconstitutional marriage to his second wife, whose father is believed to be pro-German. More on her later, because she definitely deserves her own video. In a 1950 referendum, the public voted to allow Leopold to return to Belgium. However, Parliament and public protests resulted in him abdicating in favor of Baudouin. In 1960, the king married Spanish aristocrat, and boy, did she have a long name. So I have to actually read it instead of trying to tell it to you from memory because Her name is Fabiola Fernanda Maria de las Victorias Antonia Adelaida y Mora y Aragon. Also known as Doña Fabiola, she is was the daughter of Don Gonzalo, who is the fourth Marqués de Casariera, España. The couple had no children, and Queen Fabiola passed away in 2014. By the way, and this is important, all 5 of her pregnancies ended in miscarriage. During the reign of Baudouin, the Belgian colony of Congo became independent. In a highly contested and controversial speech delivered during the Declaration of Independence, Baudouin went on to state how the first owner, and I don't like that, of the Congo, which is this guy right here, his great-great-grandfather, King Leopold II, was described as genius, and he celebrated the acts of what King Leopold II did. And when I tell you the atrocities that this man committed against the people of the Congo, I cannot show you these photos here because they are absolutely grotesque. I may try to do a separate video about him to see what I can pull that would... It's bad. It's bad. Moving on. Enters in Patrice Lumumba. He is the first democratically elected prime minister of Congo, and in the same day of that independent status, he released his own speech. And in his own speech, he was very hypercritical of the Belgian regime, which should be. In his speech, he cited many unaliving of the Congolese people and all the atrocities that they went through at the hand of the Belgians. The speech infuriated Baudouin, and the two just did not get along. In December of 1960, Patrice, Joseph, and Maurice, with whom the latter two were to assist Patrice in setting up a new government, were arrested. They were imprisoned in a military barrack where they were underfed and heavily mistreated. All thanks to this guy right here, Joseph Mobutu Sese Seko. Probably mispronounced that, forgive me. Who, dictator. For sake of time, I can't go through this entire thing, so I'm going to wrap it up. Joseph's job, not this Joseph, the Joseph I just showed you, his job was to neutralize the threat. And he had the backing not only of the Belgian government, but the United States and France. Joseph Mobutu, as well as a rebel and a Belgian colonel, conspired to... The king was informed of the plot and did nothing. And the lack of intervention was described as incriminating by the parliamentary investigation years later of this event. However, there is no evidence that the king actually ordered the hit that could be found. Baudouin reigned for 42 years, passing away from heart failure in 1993, in which, because he was childless, The throne went to his brother Albert II, which my first video of the series is about him if you haven't seen it yet. All of the European monarchs attended his funeral, including Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, marking the first time she attended something like this as monarch. And the only time, might I add. Now, in comes the alleged affair with his stepmother. This is an article taken from the Brussels Times. Went on to state that personal notes from the then Prime Minister Achilles van Acker were made public and revealed secret information about the two of them. According to these notes, their relationship started in the 50s, again, allegedly, and the Prime Minister I just mentioned found out about the relationship in 1952. And how he found out was Baudouin and Lillian traveled by train and shared the same compartment with sleeping beds. Now, apparently, tapping wasn't a thing with just the British royal family because he allegedly was tapped as well, telling Lillian, "I am yours and I will never leave you," in which the Prime Minister advised the king that, hey, boop, boop, you've been tapped. Nothing has really came from this, and the tapes have never been heard if that was a thing. But to put it in a diary, for it to be found later, probably some truth to that. Anywho, I'm going to wrap that up here. I hope you all enjoyed this little part 2 of the Belgian royal family scandal. This is an ongoing series. Make sure you go watch part 1 if you haven't watched it already. And as always, comment your thoughts below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you share, please. That really helps me out. And see you all next time. Au revoir.